This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Hello, my name is Harriton Botco. Welcome to our program. Why is it we have come to deserve the leaders that we have today? Call them strong, call them whatever. First, you've got America with Mr. Tweet, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, who likes to go on impulse. And then, of course, you have his nemesis. We have Kim Jonghoon, who wants to bring America down. And then you got Mr. Strongman. You got Putin in Russia, and you got Xi Jinping. I mean, gee, if we start to name all the different presidents in the African states or the African continent, gee, we would have a bunch of crazy leaders leading the world into what? Despair, abolition, whatever you call it. We have our own. We have President Duterte, the strong man of the Philippines, who we all seem to love, enjoy, and we all trust. We seem to all trust at 86-90% of the surveys saying that the Filipino trust him. I certainly do. And if any comparison, if it was just the last or past administration, mabuti na dito si Duterte kaysa yung malabo na walang ginawa kundi maglaro ng games. Now, what does this tell us? Are we in trouble? Are we going to make the next 5 years? Do we need to do something? Need we know more about the world, know more about ourselves? Or can we just sit back? Ah, hindi, malayo-layo naman. Are we really that far? If I'm not mistaken, we're equidistant to Guam, assuming the H-bomb is put up in the air. And even then, the H-bomb going up need not land because the electrostatic waves or whatever is just going to put the electric grid just down and immobilize everybody. What should we know about these people, and how should we look at foreign affairs? That's exactly our topic in our show today. We have Ambassador Jose Romero, Joe Romero. He used to be a host right here in GNN who had his hour sometime 5-6 years ago and would expose us, tell us all about all the issues going on around the world. He has also formed a new group that we will talk about, a new organization, the Council for Foreign Affairs, which we will also talk about on the second set. Hi, Ambassador. Thank you very much for being here.
Good afternoon, Harry. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Good evening to, taping lang tayo sa hapon.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Ambassador, hindi ba nakakatakot? Ikaw, you have gone around the world, you represented the country, and you've seen and you study nonstop. It's your expertise. And you go around giving talks and a lot of people seeking your advice, your counsel. What is happening around the world with all the crazy leaders we seem to have? Do we deserve them? I mean, Xi Jinping, he's got another 5 years, but every time you read about China, it's really in turmoil. But he puts up another front in the, and then you've got Donald Trump. I'm not sure the Americans want or hate him. In the Philippines, we know the popular President Duterte, but then again, we have the past administration still clawing back and refusing the democracy that we enjoy, wanting to come back regardless of their failure to lead the country. Of course, Kim Jonghoon and Putin. How would you summarize everything?
Well, as an economic historian, I try to put everything in context. I want to go back to history. I want to go back to the age of colonialism, Well, only one or two guys
In the
talked.
50s.
No, even earlier, just
Earlier,
before the
oh, okay.
Second World War. No?
Okay.
The Second World War, of course, changed things. Everybody got independent. And when they became independent, the end of colonialism, the yoke of colonialism, they could speak. Gandhi, Tito.
Freedom! We can
Freedom,
talk!
we can talk. No?
We can talk.
And that trend is moving forward. And now even the small African country has a say. I mean, he wants to go to the United Nations and say his piece, you know. And now we have this Kim Jong, North Korea, threatening a superpower.
Yeah, yeah.
With
Lahat tayo
nuclear
damay.
power.
Kung pumutok yan, damay tayo.
Yeah. So this is the march of history. This is the golden age of diplomacy. People say you're crazy, but
You
I
call
look at
this
it.
the golden age?
For the Philippines, it is. Because, look, the Philippines is now the 12th biggest country in the world in terms of population. The third biggest country, Catholic country in the world. Yeah,
Okay,
after
yes. That's
Mexico
true. Yes, yes, yes.
and Brazil.
Basic facts. Yes.
Yeah, we about 10% of our population are in households in Europe, in you know,
May
Saudi
Filipino,
Arabia,
everywhere you go,
Filipino, and I think about 15% of the income families are dependent on the earnings from OFWs.
Yes.
So we're sought after, you know. Our BPOs are now moving to this country. Our health workers are all over the world. They can't have enough of us, you know.
So
health workers.
prolific. The Filipino is prolific.
Prolific. So it's the time that we use these assets,
Okay.
all of these positive things to do. But when I was with the United Nations before in Rome, I had allies from the ASEAN because we're neighbors.
Yes.
ASEAN. We have this Phil-American friendship that we can count
Okay,
on.
let's,
you know.
okay. With a smile, but go on.
But 4 million Filipinos are there, you know, living
Yes,
in the
2
States.
million. Yeah, 2 million.
2 million, including my family. Yeah.
Okay, 2 million. Yeah.
2 million.
Ewan ko ba't
So-
gustong-gusto nila tumira sa Amerika? Ang sarap ng buhay sa Pilipinas, eh, no?
I
But
know,
then
I
again, that's
know.
a side topic.
Yeah.
Let's go
And
on.
then, you know, we're still part of the Mundo Hispanico. In the magazines there, I mean, they look at the Philippines.
Our
thing there.
history, our
Yeah,
heritage, so
history
to
is our
speak.
heritage, you know. So we are unique in that sense. And this is reflected in our food. I just had a nice meal somewhere here, which was a fusion of Spanish, American, Chinese, Filipino. That's why we have, I think, the best cuisine in the world.
Okay.
I challenge any other country to say, to do this. They say
Okay.
French cuisine, no. I think Filipino cuisine
Okay.
is thing.
I agree with you. However subjective, I'll agree there. But how do we look about, I mean, I read every day and I get scared every day. How do we handle Kim Jong-un, first of all? Or Donald Trump between the sparring just 2-3 days ago in the UN?
Okay, let's go back to history. See, they divided Korea into two parts,
Yes.
North and South.
If they listen to Douglas MacArthur, there would be no North Korea. Sinugod nyo na.
If they listened to MacArthur and MacArthur would have bombed beyond the Yellow River, everybody would have gone from this earth.
Okay, it's a
Because
bagay.
Russia and China would have retaliated,
Would come in.
and that the nuclear war would have annihilated all of us.
Okay.
That's
So,
why
mali ako doon.
Truman saw this and fired MacArthur
Ayun.
for doing this, you know. So,
But, okay.
So now we have this nuclear deterrent. Nobody's going to be stupid enough to commit suicide by dropping, because you drop a bomb here.
But why the verbal calisthenics?
Well, North Korea wants to be heard, and it's suffering from probably the misdeeds of its leaders.
The sanctions are unbearable already.
Yeah, sanctions are unbearable, and then they're probably starving to death. You know,
Yes.
so they want to be heard, and the only way they want to be heard by threatening the Big Bang, which everybody will hear all over the world.
Of course.
Yeah, so they want to go to the negotiating table. You know,
But they've been invited so many times, even by no less the recent president in South Korea still believes that he could still
Yeah.
dialogue with the North, but everyone's telling
It's-
him, you're hitting your head in the blank wall.
It's his only weapon to be heard, and the U.S. saying, put that away. Without that, he doesn't have a bargaining chip. You know, that's why I want to keep the thing. And he says there's a double standard in the world. The Caucasians and the
Yes,
Jews
yes,
can have
yes.
a middle bomb, but we need the minute that the Asians have a bomb, that's a threat to the world. But how can it be a threat? We never dropped a bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We've never done that. We haven't dropped napalm bombs in Vietnam. I mean, don't have a moral ascendancy.
But wasn't there a nuclear proliferation treaty
Treaty.
handed in 1970s, and that there will be no longer any proliferation,
Yeah.
and we keep everybody at bay?
Yeah, it's like we're in a village, and these big houses with the full of arms, etc., etc. And I can't keep my Colt 45.
But the
in
guy
my
can
house,
continue
but the guy
maintaining his
maintain his
automatic.
arsenal, machine guns, mortars, and his home. Said, okay, let's have this new proliferation. They'll end up there. At the table.
Right.
It says, okay, let us have this non-proliferation agreement, and then we can talk about other things. But that's not yet on the cards. You see, so I think it's important that again, not
You
only
think there's a solution with Kim Jonghoon? He seems to say, his rhetoric is always, I will bomb you, I will bomb you,
Well,
I'll bomb you. And it ends there.
Well, yeah, that's his weapon. That's his thing. It's just a poker game. Okay, I call you a thing. I have 5 aces here, and then the thing. I mean, he's got to play it that way. He thinks, rightly or wrongly.
But
Yeah.
how do we handle a person like him? I mean, a crazy leader who says he's going to go against America when everybody knows
Well-
he cannot challenge America. I mean, he will be obliterated, but what he holds is South Korea, 5 million, 10 million people with a bomb over their head. They're the first ones to go.
Well, we hope that this can't go on.
Good. It can't go
It
on.
can't go
Yes,
on. I mean,
it can't go on.
This thing, this mudslinging thing, it's got to stop. And I think that Russia and China, who are North Korea's friends, allies,
And Iran.
and supplier, and probably Iran, will prevail on the thing, which is what he's waiting for these guys to bring him to the table and say, look, don't worry about it that you need.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, parang ganon.
So you need bread, we'll give you bread,
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. But thinks is smart enough to force this issue. Otherwise, he says, I dropped the bomb. What is it? Okay, forget it.
Of course.
Who was that fellow? Who was that
The crazy guy who dropped the bomb.
who
But
talked about the bomb? Yeah.
Ikaw, how long do you think this will last? Because this is making markets uneasy. It's making long-term investments uneasy. There's uncertainty with a madman in our corner of the world.
Yeah. First of all, let's not presume that he's a madman. I think he's a rather clever chap,
But
to
at
do
this
things.
age, at 30 years old,
Yeah.
is it possible that he already has the maturity, the
Because-
expertise, the ability to,
No, this is a man who is very westernized. He grew up in Switzerland. He went to the best schools in Switzerland. He likes chocolates, he likes things, he likes film, he likes basketball. He's not crazy enough to commit suicide like Idi Amin or one of those things.
crazy
Yeah,
yun.
but this one is sophisticated. He knows, and he has chosen a weapon of mass destruction to promote his interests. So he's going to play that card to the end.
How long should the world allow him? Because they say within a year, his capabilities will be able to reach America. Will America stand up to an arsenal that can reach them? Or do we put him down now, habang maaga?
I don't think, the whole world, I think, the Xi Jinping, Putin, and everything else, Iranian,
They won't allow him.
They won't allow it. Nobody, because they would allow the world to disappear. Because once
But can they control him? May control ba sila? Do they hold sway? Because right now, the latest is the oil embargo. Pag inipit na yan, refined oil, sinabi ng China just yesterday.
he'll push the envelope to the limit. That's why you play poker.
Okay.
Right?
Is that how you do foreign relations?
That's how I do my poker.
But if foreign relations played like that all around the world?
Of course. You got to play.
Takutan talaga?
Of course. Well, not takutan necessarily, but you have to play your cards to the end. I mean, show me, I show you, okay, to that level. But in the meantime, you change your cards.
But I thought people in foreign affairs are very intelligent, very educated.
We have,
and very,
well, foreign affairs is diplomacy. And diplomacy is creative and preventive,
okay.
basically. So you create, you want to play poker, we'll play another game, or it's more interesting to you.
Diplomacy, yeah.
And preventive, does not get this far, you won't get that thing, so let's cross the line here.
So may rules,
yeah,
rules
like
of engagement.
The Portuguese in Spain, they put a line.
Yes.
Put a line and things. So hopefully it will get there. In the meantime, pressures are being exerted. Yeah, I think China more or less pushing putting the squeeze a little bit more, and so forth and so on. So, I mean, as I said, this can go on and on. There's a timeline here somewhere, and
but meantime, we all suffer the consequence of their actions, whether it be immature or whether it pose a real threat. Nakakatakot.
yeah. So
Diba? I mean, if I was South Korean and I have family, I would have left long ago.
But you see, that's the essence of the geopolitics, the Cuban missile is that everybody was holding his breath,
Yeah.
it's gonna make that.
And the rich Cubans left
It never really happened because people today are not crazy enough
to fire that bomb.
to pull the trigger, But in the meantime, well, let's hold your breath. I mean, let's.
Okay,
So,
we're going to have to take a short break, Ambassador. That's the problem. How much do we know? Ambassador Joe obviously is a bit relaxed because he looks into history, he sees how it's happened, he's been in the game, he's played the game, he's been in foreign relations, and he was seated at one time or the other in the United Nations. Obviously, big men, big countries, big guns somehow play a different game. You and I, we watch on the sidelines. But should we just stay on the sidelines? If you were South Korean, would you continue living there? We are within proximity of a bomb that may go to Guam, who he hates very much, the North Korean leader. Kung magkamali lang yan, dito bumangga sa atin. Plus the fact, why do we even have the 7th Fleet and all the Americans and whatnot here in our country? Baka madamay tayo, di ba? Tawag dyan, collateral damage. Hindi kaya sila na lang magbakbakan, iwan nyo kami. Is there even a thing or such a place like Switzerland in today's world? Is there still a place that is free from the horrid circumstance strong men will put and push the world into? Is there such a thing as a doomsday scenario where we obliterate Mother Earth and ourselves, considering it's 2020, it's already over the 21st century? Is that even possible? If it was, maybe we would all turn cynical, lose faith, and go crazy. Whichever way. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to talk to you about the Council of Foreign Affairs that was just organized right here in the Philippines. We'll be right back.